Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're just getting started here. This is Tina Cosentino with CCOF, and here in the room we have Kathy Calfo. You want to say hello?
Hi, everybody. Robin Boyle, hello.
And Christine Coltolero, hi.
And Jody Bergil from Certification will be joining us in just a few minutes.
Great. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining today and taking time out of your busy day. We're going to be, I want to start just because a few folks may be new to the webinar and talk to you a little bit about what you're seeing on your screen, orientate you to that so you know how you can participate. You all are automatically joined muted for the session today, but we're going to be opening up the mics and allowing you to unmute the phone. So I'll just show you a little bit what's here on the right-hand side of your screen. You see a little pane here on the right-hand side of the column. If you want to open or close that, you just click on the orange button, and it'll minimize it and get it off of the screen for you. You can also check your audio. You can either join by using the microphone and speakers. It looks like everyone is successfully joined either through the telephone. If you're choosing telephone, it looks like most of you have probably found that by now, clicking on the Use Telephone button, and it will give you a number to dial in. It's important you put in the audio pin. That does allow us to unmute you. You can also type in your questions. So this works like a chat feature. You just type them in, and we'll be pausing periodically throughout the call today to take your questions. Or you can raise your hand by clicking on the hand feature, and that will let us know you'd like to be unmuted. We're going to be recording the session today, so if there are other leaders from your chapter that weren't able to attend, we will be sending a recording. So don't worry about missing or frantically having to take notes. So with that, I'm going to pass it off to Kathy, who's going to walk us through the agenda and help us get started.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being on the call and for being an active member of CCOF. It really means a lot to all of us here, and I think it's what makes CCOF unique and have as big of an impact as we do on organic. So today we're going to begin with introductions, which isn't on the written agenda. Then Robin is going to talk about our CCOF website and some enhancements that we have that are going to have a lot of benefits for your chapters and for you as clients of CCOF certification services. We're going to talk about certification improvements that we're really excited about. Many of these, interestingly, came out of the work that we did on the merger, which didn't move forward, but in the course of planning for how we were going to build this great unified certifier, we came up with a number of innovations and ideas that I think people are going to be very excited about. Breeze Tensor is joining us by phone. She's home with a cold today, but to talk a little bit about advocacy. Tina Cosentino is going to give an update on our education programs, and then we have a few reminders at the end. So to begin with introductions, I want to introduce, many of you know her already, but Christine Coltolero, who works here as my executive assistant. Tina Cosentino, who has been doing our chapter and membership outreach, is in the process of getting her MBA from the University of Santa Clara. We're very excited for her, and she's going to continue on with CCOF, but she needs to go to part-time while she's finishing up that huge endeavor. So filling in for her will be Christine Coltolero, and she'll I think I'll introduce her to say a few words and then call roll. And when she calls roll, we were hoping that people could just take 30 seconds to a minute to introduce yourself and maybe share with us something that's going on in your chapter.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm going to call roll, and I look forward to hearing from you. First, Cindy Lashbrook. Hi again, Cindy.
You don't need to.
Is Cindy talking?
No, she won't be able to. Oh, you're going to call it roll, so let me unmute everybody then.
Yeah. Hang on just a sec, Cindy. If you were talking, we're going to...
There's Cindy.
Oh, there you are.
Hi.
Okay. Now can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, Big Valley chapter, and we we've been, kind of talked back and forth during the near merger that we're ready to have a meeting, and so I'll probably move down to just, not down. I'll be working on chapter leadership, but not. I think we'll have a new whatever you call it. What is it, Christine? I'm brain dead. Anyway,
Valley Board representative.
Yeah, from our chapter, pretty soon. And somebody was telling me that the chapters are being merged together. So I just remembered
Not that we know of. They might be doing it voluntarily, and we'll hear it on this call.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Cindy. Next we have Vernon Peterson. Looks like Vernon, are you on? Mm-mm. All right, we'll come back to you. Melvin Krebs. No. Melvin Krebs, okay. Kim Dixon.
Yeah,
Kim Dixon. Oh, hi.
Hi there. I am new to CCOF as a organic certification coordinator and new secretary of our current chapter, which we just had our first meeting in a long time, and we elected some members, and we're looking forward to producing a little summary from ourselves to add on to the website.
All right, and then I don't know if this name, if I'm going to pronounce this right, but is it Ricky Gratona or Richie Gratona?
He's not on.
Something, no? All right, Malcolm Ricky.
Hello, I'm just sitting here with Kim as we watch the webinar with everybody.
Sitting here with
Malcolm and Kim.
Kim. Oh, okay, hi. All right, Gisela Wittenborn.
She's there. Gisela, can you hear us? It looks like you're on, and you're unmuted if you want to speak. She might.
Or feel free to type.
She might.
Okay, next we'll do Kent Stenderup. All right, Joelle Masso.
Hello.
Hi, Joelle.
Hi. I'm on the processor handler chapter. We actually haven't had too many activities lately, but we've had some webinars for our constituency, I guess you'd say, which is all over the United States.
Okay, great. Steve Demuri.
Yes, I'm on. Hi, everybody. As Joelle mentioned, we had a couple of really good meetings earlier in the year with some really good guest speakers, and we're hoping to re-energize the chapter here after the holidays and have a couple more meetings. So we'll be making plans to do that.
Okay, thanks. And Renee Thresher. Renee, are you on? No. Okay, Mary Page.
Mary Page here, sitting in for Tom Page. Things are pretty quiet here. We are working on a planning meeting for spring. That's about it.
Okay, good. Karen Archiplay.
Hi, we're here. Happy holidays, everybody. We have started a constant contact, which is very exciting, and we sent out our first newsletter for November, and I'm working on the December newsletter now, which is really great. Sorry about the phone. I don't know how to stop it. Anyway, so we also have a Facebook page that we're getting to be really active on, and I believe a couple, Tom and Lois of our chapter is working on a January 16th meeting, which is going to be really cool.
Great, thanks, Karen. Randy Hansen.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm with the Sierra Gold chapter, and we're planning a meeting to elect officers as the big item on there. Probably be in mid-February.
Okay, thanks. Eric Mitchelson. Eric, are you on? No? Okay. Neil McDougall? Nope, no Neil. and Carolyn Schaefer.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we're having, from the SLOW chapter, we're having a meeting this coming Sunday, and Eric actually has organized it. It will be a meeting and a barbecue, and it's going to be at the Grange, and we're really looking forward to it. It's the first meeting we've had since last September, a year ago September. So we're real excited, and we understand a lot of you are coming down from Santa Cruz, so we're real excited about all getting together again.
Great, thanks. That's the end of my roster. Is there anyone whose name I didn't call? Ashley Eastman? Ashley Eastman? Or if someone's on for Ashley Eastman? All right, well, I'll just dive right in. My name's Christine, and I'll be filling in over the next 6 months for Tina, which I'm pretty excited about. And some things to look forward to in the next 6 months are 2 upcoming chapter leader webinars, which are planned for sometime in February and June, which will be following some board meetings. So we should have some good information to share there, and I hope to see you all there. Thanks.
And Vernon just joined.
Oh, Vernon.
Hi, Vernon. Are you there? We just unmuted you. Any report from Fresno Tulare?
Okay, I think we'll move on. This is Kathy. I just wanted to mention one more thing about chapter meetings. We've made at the staff level a real commitment to bring people to every meeting this year. We'd really like to try to do that. And one thing that would really help us is as soon as you have dates, if you guys give Christine a call. I jotted down the dates that people rattled off. And if for some reason, you don't want staff down, that's fine, but we'd like to really know early and make the effort to get a team here. We're going to also try to work with some of you to schedule chapter meetings in similar areas close to the same time, just to be more cost effective. So you'll hear more about that over the course of the year. Next, I'm going to introduce our Director of Marketing, Robin Boyle, who has done a fabulous job enhancing our website. And some of you may be beta testing it or have seen it, but if not, this will be your first look. And yay, Robin, tell us about it.
Hello, everyone. Some of you have heard that we are in the process of creating an enhanced website. And the interesting part is we've been working on this for about 18 months now. So it's been quite the endeavor, but we're really excited that the site is actually going to go live in early January. So there's lots of opportunity for clients and chapters to participate and gain more visibility on this website. So I just wanted to make sure you were aware of it before the site actually goes live. So right now, those of you who haven't seen it, this is the front page of our new website. It offers a lot of functionality. There is what I would like to do right now is go over a couple things that are some minor changes. So first of all, when you go into this new website, there is a function of the website that allows chapters to highlight what they do. So right now you're looking at a page that's for the Southwest chapter. You'll see you'll see that under the column where it says Pacific Southwest, that specific information was provided to us from the chapter. You'll see on the bottom right corner where it says chapter members. This information is coded in the back end, so what will happen is when an individual or viewer goes to this page, they will see every member of the chapter on the bottom right side. Sorry, you're getting on. There we go. Okay. So, thank you. So you'll see here, this is where all the chapters are listed, or the members of the chapter are listed, and this is a link to your page. So we're really excited about that. And so what we'd like to do is for everybody who hasn't done so already, I know there's about 5 chapters, is provide us, about 500 words, 150 words whatever works for you, about what your chapter is doing. And on an ongoing basis, we'll be able to update this for you so you can talk about specific events and things like that. And as a side note, for someone who wants to get to this page, up here it says Who's CCOF. This will take you to a link on this left nav here that will talk about chapters. And also in the bottom footer, which you do not see here, there is a list with the chapter activities, and both will lead to a chapter page. So we're really excited about that. And so if you haven't done so already, please send your chapter update to Christine. So be sure to populate that before the site goes live. Right now the site is planned to go live on January 7th. So please, if you haven't done so already, please get your chapter pages or your paragraph about your chapter written and sent to Christine before then, and we'll make sure to get that out for you. Then, some minor changes. What you'll see when with the new site is how to log into MyCCOF. I just want to make sure everybody was aware of this. Right now, with the new site, it's now called My Account. So we just want to be clear, so going forward with the new site as of January, this is where you'll log into MyCCOF. So you hit My Account up here in the horizontal nav, and then it just takes you down here to where you would typically put in your username and password. So make sure you're aware of that. Now here's something that we're really proud of, and so we want to make sure everybody knows about it. We have a new online directory that's going to be real-time. It pulls information from eCert directly. Our goal is to have it updated. It's going to be nightly. So this information will feature many things that you do. And also some of the functionality. If you have apprenticeships, people can pull information to find an apprenticeship that you might offer. So there'll be a tool for that. If someone, let's say a consumer, wants to find CSAs in their area, they could plug that information in this directory, and it'll bring up via Google Maps all the CSAs in their area. Or if you're looking for a brew pub with organic beer in a specific area, it will bring that up. So we're very excited about this. And one of the things that to help you create visibility on this directory is you have a company statement. So right now you're looking at a page of someone who might have clicked on Diamond Orchard, and you'll see here what's going to be on this page. This is the equivalent of what you could see on your page if it's for your business. It would list your chapter, it would have your company statement, talk about the methods in which you sell, and this is all which is within sales or eCert, and the type of product that you produce. It has your contact information, your website, etc. So what I want to show you is how to get to this in case you don't know. As I said, this is going to be, this is available now actually, but when the website goes live, you'll be able to see your company statement. So what I want to make sure everybody understands is when you're in eCert now, you would go to the public profile and click on that, and that's what you're looking at right now. So you're going to click on the public profile, you'll see the company statement in the bottom. This is where you could write whatever you want about your business. So it would be a great opportunity for advertise what you do. You can go in there and change that and test this channel to see, maybe offer incentives, a coupon, whatever, some kind of special pricing, just to see how this works for you so you can experiment. So as you can see here, our company statement here is we have the best, most organic persimmons ever, woohoo. So this is the test, but we wanted to just give you an idea that this is a great opportunity because our directory is one of the most highly visited sections of our website. Whether you're a consumer, whether you're trying to source ingredients, whether you're the press, whomever, people go to this page a lot. So please take advantage of this and go in here and fill this out before January 7th. And then, yeah, so can we open it up for questions? Do you think anybody would, can we do that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions for Robin about the site or what she presented?
Cool. So please take advantage of it. It's going to be a great tool for you.
Okay, so each individual grower, Cindy, each individual grower just goes in on or client at their own time and pulls it in, right?
Correct. You enter it in MyCCOF, and then it will populate.
So you'll,
Okay.
yeah, so you'll find it, you know, when you get there, is when you're in MyC2F, there's this public profile on the bottom left navigation here, and that's where you click on that, and that's where you'll see this company statement, and that's where you would complete that.
And it's also a piece of information we collect during the inspection. It's on the work order that the inspector hands you that one page. So you could write it there and we'd enter it for you.
Right.
Okay.
So if you want it in time for January 7th,
Well, yeah,
yeah, you'd want to do this before then.
of course.
Okay. Have you or will you be sending out an email to membership to kind of remind them and give them a link?
Kind of a plan. We're planning on doing some what we're kind of calling mini demos. So if you, for example, if you want to do a specific task, you would just click on it, and it would kind of walk you through, like within a minute or two, demo of how to, you know, complete your member profile, or how to log into MyC2F, or how to find your inspections in MyC2F. That kind of thing will be available. It won't be available at the launch this site. We're trying to have a little library of how-to, so clients can go in there and figure out what they need to do.
So we can also have Christine send out a reminder to people who haven't done their pages yet, just so you know who you are.
Okay.
The chapter.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be appreciated. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, thanks everybody. Next, I'm going to introduce Jody Bergil, who is our Handler Certification Director, and on behalf of the entire certification department, she's going to present some of the exciting new improvements.
Hi, everybody. If I were shuffling around here, I can drive the PowerPoint. It's great to be here. Thank you all for coming, and all the processor chapters, too. That's really exciting to see you all here. Okay, so coming in 2013, there's some certification improvements, and you know, we do improvements sort of internally, things you never see, but that hopefully make us better at service and speed and efficiency. But these are outward-facing improvements that we're excited to share with you. So let me just get started. So one of the big things that we changed about our structure here in the office is that all clients have been assigned a certification service specialist, and that's someone here in the office or available, you know, during business hours. In the case of Becky Whitty, she's not in the office but is available just the same. And their name appears on every certification letter that you get from CCOF. So in the event that you don't know who that is, this is a little image of the bottom of the letter, and all their information is there. And you can call them about the letter, about you know, status of your inspection, who is your inspector. You know, you submit a material for review or a label, and you want to know what's going on with it. This person can help just sort of navigate the system for you, and help answer your basic questions about what's going on with your certification status. So we're really excited about this. This model was really based on the RSR model, and we hope it's an improvement to service. The RSR is really, you know, like I said, we base this on them because they were such a great service to clients, and this is an improvement hopefully because they're available, you know, 40 hours a week full time. So that's our hope, that you can always reach a person is our service hope there. And I'd be happy to take questions about how that works. I've got a couple more slides. One big improvement to MyC2F, and this is a little sneak preview of what it's going to look like, along with the website launch. They're sort of styled similarly. And there's a new tab there, hopefully you can see it circled in red, called OSP Files. And this tab is going to be where you can find your OSP as CCOF knows it. And so this is essentially a scan of the documents you send us. We've just finished last week scanning all of our organic system plans. So they're all electronic. I believe it was over 2,500 files were scanned. And so they all live now live and available to you via MyC2F. So you can see the latest update that you sent us and whether it's been integrated. The other thing you can do is download the entire OSP using that
second circle sort of around the manila folder in the middle there is where you would click to download a zip file of all of your entire OSP. So if you're preparing for your inspection and you want to know what it is we have and what we think your plan is, that would be where you could download the whole thing and make updates as well to that electronic document. Let me just check my notes for a few other features of the OSP that's available online. So when we scan each of the OSPs, we gave them very specific file types. This view doesn't show you what it will look like when everything goes live in January, but we have file types that will show you your maps and show you your labels and show you different pieces of your OSP so you can find it easily. This is actually available right now for you in case you're sort of an adventurous electronic user and you want to go see your OSP today. You could go to a tab called Files, which is where your OSP lives today. We're just curating it a little further in the new version and putting it in this space called OSP Files, so it's a little clearer. But today you could go into your Files tab in MyCCOS and find OSP files, and that would be what we have on file for you current up to the minute. Okay, so the future of that is really the future of the OSP online. You know, really we want someday to be able to have you submit updates via MyCCOS, and that will be coming. But something that's happening right now that's exciting is within the tab. And so in MyCCOS, you're going to have access to your list of materials that have been approved by CCOS. And you'll be able to generate your own list. Again, this is in preparation for your inspection. If you want to know what it is CCOS thinks you're using, you could go to MyCCOS and see your inputs list. The next stage sometime this year will be that you'll be able to remove inputs on your own. So that's kind of the first interactive piece of MyCCOS that's coming. And then the third piece that will hopefully happen this year is that you'll be able to search our entire list of inputs and request the use of one. And that's really exciting to us. It's the first time that the OMRI list, the WSDA list, and CCOS internal materials list will be available to our clients to search. Can you grab that? I'm taking it. So that is really exciting to us. Those are the highlights of what's coming in 2013. I'd love to take questions.
Does anybody have any questions for Jody?
I have a quick question.
Okay.
So if we have a, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Is that, okay, sorry. If we have a is it the MyCCOS login and password that we'll use, or do we need to make a new one?
So this is your MyCCOS login and password. That's how you'll access all of this.
Okay, cool. It didn't recognize me. I was able to do it on the old one, but not the new one. That's okay. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, definitely give us a call if you're having technical difficulties.
Thank you.
Right. Any other questions? Thank you very much, Jody. That was great. Breeze Tensor is on the line. Breeze, if you'll just let us know when you'd like us to turn pages, I'd be happy to do that for you.
Okay, great. Thank you. What I really just wanted is a couple of minutes just to give you all a short update on one of our policy and advocacy priorities, which is Farm Bill. And really, I just want you all to sort of know the top-line situation, which is that farmers in California and around the country are in a very unusual and, for some, a stressful situation of having no federal farm bill, which, you know, sets our USDA programs and funding, basic risk management, crop insurance tools, as well as nutrition, title, food stamp programs are kind of going on as expected, but many programs are basically left in a complete limbo until a bill is passed. And the delay is really because of both political gridlock as well as the federal deficit and how and where to cut federal spending, and some questions that are bigger than just agricultural questions. But I wanted you all to know this for a few reasons. First, we are getting a lot of questions about the organic certification cost share program. That is one of the many important but smaller pieces of a farm bill. So at this point in time, we are letting people know that deadlines for applying for funding for the 2012 fiscal year have ended. Deadlines have passed, and we do not yet know whether or not there will be any money in 2013 to offset certification costs. We are working really, really hard to push for the survival of that program, advocating to members of Congress along with and partnering with some of our other organizations to push for a farm bill to be passed and for it to include our organic priorities. The slide you guys can see is just a list of some of the things we've been pushing for in a farm bill. So our job is really two-part at this point. One is to push to get it passed, and second is to make sure that if it is passed, that in their efforts to trim federal spending, all the cuts aren't taken disproportionately from the things that help our growers, such as the Organic Certification Cost Share Program, some of the funding for the National Organic Program, Organic Research and Extension Initiative, funding to do organic questions as part of the agricultural census, as well as economic reports on the organic sector, funding for conservation programs, such as the Environmental Quality Incentives Program. They have an organic initiative to help transition into organic practices. We've been pushing for improvements to organic crop insurance coverage, which is not a funding issue in the Farm Bill, but just a programmatic. They need legislation to help push coverage to be more equitable for organic growers. We've been pushing for funding for plant and animal breeding, cultivar development, release of publicly held, new seed varieties, and support for some of the beginner farmer rancher programs. So these are some of the many programs that are on the table right now. And we had a meeting last week we've been having a series of meetings with members of Congress about these priorities and been working really hard, particularly with members of Congress from California. I met last week with California Costa, who's from the Fresno area and sits on the House Agriculture Committee, and we were joined by Colin Peterson, who's the ranking member on the House Agriculture Committee, who's from Minnesota, and to the extent that he's kind of one of the primary people writing the bill, it was really good to have an hour to sit down and talk and hear what his sense of strategy is, which is that they're not going to get it done in this fiscal year, but it'll go into 2013, and that we really need to keep pushing for our priorities. And I think the main thing we need to be doing is continue to communicate about the needs for the organic sector and continuing to get farmers and other CCOF members to speak up directly about why these programs are important. We will be continuing to send out action alerts through our CapWiz system, so I really encourage you guys, if you're seeing them, to open them, to take action if we send them out. They're really important, and to forward them on to friends, family, farmers, and other members of your chapters, and make sure that we're getting a loud response rate to those messages. And lastly, I just wanted to conclude by, since elections, we've had a really pretty significant amount of turnover of our elected officials in California, and we have a number who are going to be in really influential positions with some farm policy in 2013 and beyond. Congressman Jeff Denham from the Modesto area is going to be joining the Agriculture Committee. Congressman Costa is going to be increasing in his seniority on the Agriculture Committee. New Congressman-elect Valadao is trying to get onto the Agriculture Appropriations Committee, which sets funding for agricultural programs. The Central Coast Congressman Farr is going to again be the ranking member for agricultural appropriations. So we have a lot of really influential members, and we are going to be throughout the year, encouraging members of Congress to go out to their districts, see organic farms, and we may be reaching out to you all for help in identifying, great farms and interesting stories to tell from those congressional districts as we communicate with our elected officials. So just wanted to let you know we will be in touch with about those things, and in the meanwhile, just keep an eye out for those alerts, which we will be sending as they get back to debating the farm bill in the coming months. That's all.
Breeze, were you going to say anything about the NOP and regulatory priorities?
Sure, yeah, I'm happy to do that. And Jody, if you're still on, you may be able to help on a couple of those. We are, still, monitoring regulatory and standards issues as they relate to the National Organic Standards Board, and our CCOF policy specialist, Sia, who continues to sit on the NOSB, has been a really great support for us there. We are already gearing up for the April NOSB meeting, which will be held up in Portland. There's going to be a number of issues that impact our clients on that agenda. Right now, one of the more controversial is a proposal to sunset use of antibiotics, tetracycline and streptomycin, to treat fire blight, and how do we find an extension that's going to be manageable for growers and push that date out a little bit farther into the future when we have more information about alternatives in hand. Methionine use in poultry production is going to be on the agenda again, and a number of other issues. So we are going to be sending out some communications about this in our e-newsletter. I really encourage folks to read it. Really would love to see a showing of our West Coast members be at the meeting, since the meeting will be in Portland, and we will, we'll keep you in touch about that. The residue testing, there is a new standard from the NOP on residue testing pesticides, which CCOF is really prepared to do and do well. We think it's an important way to communicate consumers that confidence they should have in organic products. And I don't know if Jody or anyone from the certification side has any more detailed update on that than I do, but we do want you to know that that's a policy that is in place and that CCOF is implementing.
Before Jody chimes in, if she has something, I just wanted to say, this is Kathy, that this is an issue that's come up at our annual meetings, and it's good for our members who've been concerned oftentimes that we do testing for them, but that their neighbor's certifier doesn't, and it's not a level playing field. This is something that we proposed and that really creates a more level playing field, and that's one of the reasons we wanted you to be aware of it. This is, something that you, as members of the organization, have encouraged us to do. We followed through and got it done. So we're pretty proud of it.
Great, thank you. I think that helps frame it well. And then I think the last one of these I really want to touch on is the bullet that's called practices, not paper. It's our sort of catchphrase for some work we've really been doing and thinking a lot about internally, which is the long-term viability of the National Organic Program. And I think, over the 10 years since the program has been up and running, we've just seen huge strides forward, continued strong growth of the organic sector. But as always, it's an ever-evolving process. And so, we've been thinking about, kind of in recognition of the program's 10-year anniversary, looking ahead, what's next, and our sort of two overarching thoughts and concerns that we wanted to communicate to them on behalf of our members is, one, how do we make sure that the program is not becoming so overly burdensome and bureaucratic, particularly in terms of paperwork requirements, that we're driving out particularly smaller clients and just making it, overly paperwork heavy, burdensome, unwieldy system. So what recommendations could we give to them to streamline those paperwork requirements while still ensuring that the integrity of what we're certifying to is just as high? And are there redundancies in paperwork that's being asked for that's not as critical. So our two sort of overarching messages to the USDA in recent communications have been, one, streamline paperwork and focus more on organic practices, and second, maintain organic standards as really the gold star of, labeling and product verification. And we think there's some really concrete ways to do that. Our staff, by Jake, Jody, and Robin on our certification side, put together some, I think, really great thoughts on how to streamline some of those paper requirements, such as how can we work to provide more immediate updates to an organic system plan rather than to have it to, be issued in noncompliance if you want to, do something that is allowed but wasn't originally on your organic system plan and send it in for approval and send it back. But how can we do more automatic updates and be able to adapt as long as you're doing organic compliant practices and be a little bit more adept at getting approval for these practices. And so we submitted a paper which we are able to share as a letter to the National Organic Program. And then we sent a letter that was addressing some of those priorities as well as some broader concerns about longer-term growth in the organic sector, including the paperwork concerns about GMO contamination, how does organic fit into the pending new food safety requirements that are going to be issued from the Food and Drug Administration, and sent it to the USDA's Deputy Secretary, Kathleen Merrigan, who is second in command at the Department of Agriculture. And, we're just trying to build a really strong relationship with them to be being a support to them as they try and grow and strengthen the National Organic Program, and also be advocating for our clients and making sure that the program continues to work well for them.
Great. Thank you so much, Breeze. Does anybody have any questions? All right. Tina Cosentino is going to update you on education programs.
Hi, everyone. So I just want to give a high-level summary. We're just wrapping up our 2012 education program, really strong with serving over 250 people. We have kind of a breakdown of about 50% of the folks who've attended our trainings this year have been currently certified organic. But about 50% have not been, and either have been falling in one of two categories, either in the process of getting certified or considering certification. And then also we've had a percentage of folks who've fallen in the other category that are either crop advisors or agriculture advisors in another capacity and getting up to speed with organic practices. So we're proud to have completed the program strong. We just completed our final webinar yesterday with the crop planning webinar, serving 25 participants there. Overall, the webinar program has served people in 20 different states, which is exciting to see what we can do with the webinar platform as a way to reach our membership nationally. So moving to the next slide, I'm sure everyone has heard about our exciting plans to celebrate CCOF's 40th anniversary. We're having a pre-conference event at EcoFarm on January 23rd, which will include our annual meeting, an organic anniversary bus tour. We'll be visiting 3 different sites on the Central Coast, and then concluding with a reception and celebratory dinner that'll be at Asilomar. So we really hope that you all can join us for this event. Registration is through the ecofarm2013.org website. There's still a few spaces left on our bus tour and tickets for the dinner. So we really encourage you to attend and come and celebrate with all of us. In addition, we want to make sure that we thank our sponsors who've had a really, really generous level of sponsorship this year. Particularly, we want to thank some of you who are on the call today that work with some of these companies, including Earthbound, Abundant Harvest, Bolthouse, Lumberg, many others I'm sure I'm missing, but there's a small list of them here. We couldn't really do this event without you, and this will support this event and also support our ongoing education programs and advocacy and everything else we do throughout the year. So thank you to our sponsors. With that, I'll give you a sneak peek. We're already in the works of busy planning the education program for 2013. You'll see we'll be taking our Marketing 101, our Successful Marketing 101 webinar and transforming it into a workshop, making it in both Spanish and English. We'll be debuting that as a workshop at EcoFarm. And we'll be also offering it as a webinar again in the spring. The wholesale market tour was very successful this year. We had a completely sold out event with 28 participants in San Francisco. We'll be adding a second wholesale market tour in Los Angeles, visiting Heath and Lejeune and walking the Los Angeles produce docks. And again, we'll be bringing back the San Francisco tour, which continues to be very popular. We'll be running again with our organic labeling webinar in May and our post-harvest field day in June. And we hope to repeat the crop planning webinar in November. So that's just kind of a sneak peek. We'll be having all of this posted up on our website, so please do check the website often for programs that are coming up and encourage members to register for them so we can serve as many people as possible.
Great, thanks, Tina. I think we can just, Christine has a couple of announcements to make, and then we'll have, I think, a little bit time left if people have questions or just topics they want to discuss. So, Christine, why don't you make your announcement?
Sure. As far as chapter business, there are a couple of board seats up for elections and also chapter leadership positions. So down there we have Big Valley, Central Coast, and YOLA, who I've actually been in contact with. But if you're having any issues with elections or if you have any coming up, please feel free to contact me. We'll have a new board orientation at the January 22nd Inc. board meeting. So again, contact me if you need any help with setting that up. And then, next slide, treasurer reports are due January 30th, 2013. Your chapter treasurer, please remember to have your bank account statements mailed to the CCOF home office. And again, as it says here, you should be receiving a monthly copy from our accounting department. So feel free to contact me or our accounting department if you have any questions about that as well.
All right. So once again, thank you, everybody here and everybody on the phone, and let's just open it up. If there are questions, I noticed, Giselle, you don't have a speaker. If you want to type your question, I believe you can do that if you have any. All right, Karen, do you have a question?
I think she's offline.
Oh.
She's got.
Karen, you're here. I have you unmuted if you want to try speaking. We'll see if we can hear you. Or if not, please feel free to type in your question. We can read them out as well. That's just as easy. Any comments or questions from the group?
Okay, Karen's telling us that she just wrote hello because her speaker went off, but I don't think has a question.
Okay. This is Cindy. How often are you planning on this type of call with chapter leadership?
We're looking at, for next year, twice a year. Christine is thinking one in February and one in June. Those will follow board meetings, so in addition to the normal updates like this, we'll be able to report on actions that took place at the board meeting.
Okay. And then,
are these helpful too? I mean, it's good for us to hear back if this is helpful information, if there's other information you'd prefer.
This is Christine. I just wanted to also add, in addition, just to kind of reiterate Kathy's point about having CCOF staff at your chapter meetings. This is kind of information that we can be giving at the chapter meetings as well, and that 2-week advance notice really helps. In the past couple of months, we've gone to the Fresno Tulare chapter meeting, the Kern chapter meeting. Kathy was just at the South Coast chapter meeting, and we'll be at the FO one this weekend. So that could be a helpful way to.
Does anybody have any questions, comments?
Sorry, Kathy, this is Breeze. I just wanted to remind people, everybody should have seen it already, but the deadline for CCUF's hardship assistant grants is January 7th. So if you know people who you think should consider applying, make sure they know that that's the deadline, and the criteria should have been sent out by email.
Okay, this is Cindy. There's some board training that's going to happen at the annual meeting. And
at the January 22nd Board of Directors meeting, following up on the session we did with Judy Dutton, there'll be a board training for all board members, new and existing.
Okay, so that's kind of an overlapping meeting then of new and or
yes, it'll actually take place at the Board of Directors meeting.
Okay, and can alternates attend those meetings, or at least?
Always invited to attend.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Cindy. Okay. We'll wait just a couple seconds and see if anybody else has a comment, question. All right. Thank you all very much again for participating, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Oh, wait. What date was the cutoff for hardship assistance?
It's January 7th, and it would be, if you know of people or have applications that you're aware of, the sooner we get them, the better.
Okay.
We're accepting them now up until January 7th as the very last day, but we'll be processing them and evaluating them prior to the 7th as they come in. Okay. Every time I say this will get a new question, thank you all very much, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.